you start to get a feel of it after you do a couple of these, what I'm talking about, because it just seems like it's not really wants to rip that way. I mean, I could do it this way. Let me try this way, actually. Oh, we're risking it. Oh my God. So that worked out good. So I didn't have to do that. But like I was saying before, maybe I just found out a new way of doing it. I've been doing these quick, but I kind of just nick it with the blade so I could get the rip that way, because I feel like sometimes it's better to rip this way, because if you tried what I just did, I've done a couple of them, it just ripped off into the card and ripped the card in half. But I guess as long as you work it real good back and forth like I did, you can get a clean edge. But if you rip it from the other way, you might have to just nick that the edge with a X-Acto knife to get it going so you could rip it clean straight down like I just did the other way, which I don't know if I want to recommend it. I mean, it's actually whoever you feel is easier. And this part's the easy part, just bending it back and forth a couple times, and then it literally just rips easy like that. You know, you can't be afraid of of doing this. Seriously though, because you're gonna end up messing up anyways, and so you just might as well just take your time, and hopefully you have enough of these. And then right here you see that little extra. I might even use my magnifying glass, but there's. And then again, I don't know if I really recommend doing this, because I don't know how PSA feels about this. But I do it just enough to get the excess off. I try not to do like a clean line. I'm just getting the fat off. Because if that line, when you're cutting, if you're cutting with the X-Acto knife and you get too much of a clean line, you know, it looks obvious. You know, see, look at that. I got that extra. I don't know if you remember seeing that little stuff that was hanging off. There's some on this corner too I might get off. Maybe on the bottom. I don't know if I want to mess with that bottom though. I'm not really sure if I want to mess with that bottom. But the overall, you know, the card itself, you know, maybe it's off-centered, maybe a little bit, but they're not going to be perfect. It's one of those cards where they're not going to be perfect, which makes them more desirable, because if you do, someone ends up somehow in some way gets a gem at 10, I mean, that card's going to be worth a lot of money. I almost kind of dig into it and pick away so it looks more like a rip. Because I don't want to cut it. And I don't want to cut into the edge, because like I was going to say before, that becomes an alteration. You know. I think from what other people were telling me, it's okay to have that little fuzziness. So all right, well that's this one, the finished product of this one, and maybe I'll get some more. I'll slide that bad boy. I don't even put it in a penny sleeve. Oh yeah, I forgot the most important thing. I mean, there's not much grime on here, as you can see in the video, but I take this right here. I'm gonna get the card out of the way so I don't spray the card, because it will affect the card. I put a little dab on here, slide the card back over, take a penny sleever, put it over the card, and then I get a nice little ball like that, and I just wipe off any dust or whatever's on the surface. And don't get too crazy, and you don't want to saturate your ripped edge with any kind of liquid, because that could stain. It might stain it. Well, actually, no. This product is pretty good. I've never seen it stain any cards, but I was testing. There's a way to get dimples out of other cards, but mostly like cards like this. You know, you put a drop of this stuff on here, and you put it in a cigar humidor, and you could pop dimples out off the surface. But that's not what we're doing. We're just, you know, nice and clean. And see, sometimes you leave a little bit of residue, and you don't want that either. You just want to faintly kind of wipe it off. And I might even give it a little shake, or I just lightly blow it like that. You know, I thought that was something, but this little speck, but that's actually dirt flying off their tennis racket. So that's the finished product. Penny sleeves, I already had one out. Penny sleeves I don't recommend on these. These are kind of like, you're treating these like a vintage card almost. You don't need penny sleeves. It's kind of hard to slide down the card saver ones, and I recommend card saver ones if you're doing PSA. And then that's the finished product right there. I'm not going to pronounce the name. I thought about pronouncing it, but I'm not going to do it. I don't want to ruin. And that's the back. Some of these other ones, I think I had a better centering on the back. This is another one I did. So, all right, well, sending a couple of these off to PSA, my good ones, and might even sell some raw to people that might want them. And if you find these, grab another magazine here. Where's the one I just grabbed? The one I ripped out of. So these are the magazines you're looking for. They're at Dollar Tree, because you can see they're the old. It's old. It's October, October edition. So all right, thanks for watching, and special shout out and thanks to Kurt's Cardware. Kurt's Card Care. That's what I meant to say. I did it again. KurtzCardCare.com. Special shout out to him, because he's the one that got me into kind of fixing cards. Before, I was literally cleaning them myself with like alcohol and not really knowing what I'm doing. And I found his videos and stuff, and other people in our card collecting Discord started talking about him, and I was like, yeah, this is some good stuff. So he got me into that, and now I'm showing him how to rip one out of a magazine. He said he did that since the 80s, and I feel him on that, because I'm around that age too. So don't worry about it. I know what he's talking about. I remember one time a kid traded me a Ken Griffey Jr. card that was ripped out of a magazine. I was like, what the heck is that? You know, or I didn't know what the card was, but I liked it. But I traded him a Roger Clemens rookie card for that card, and it was probably the best decision ever, because that card is worth quite a bit now, and if you get a good PSA in that one. So the ripped cards are where it's at. They kind of remind me of, you know, vintage cards, and how a lot of those are not in good condition. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later, and peace.